Hello there, it's Healing with Chloe here. Back to the storyline of my abusive, narcissistic 4-year relationship with my ex. So, towards the end of my pregnancy, I had planned my due date for my C-section with my son Khalid for the 31st of July 2024. I had a slight water infection, and so for that reason I wasn't allowed to be on antibiotics, but I was getting pains and I thought that they were Braxton Hicks. But I was taken for a scan and my doctor had told me to go and have the Toco Belt CTG scan thing, which is, for the people who do not know, it's basically a machine and it's a device that used to continuously monitor both the baby's heart rate and the mother's contractions. So anyway, I had that and my doctor had told me specifically to bring the results back to her the same day. So my doctor for Khalid was Charla Chelikan. She worked at the Tüp Merkezi, which is the private hospital in Famagusta, and she also had days where she worked in the Devlet, which is the government state hospital. So anyway, I took my results to her and she had specifically said, let's go and get you in for a C-section. And I had told her that nothing was ready, like the bag for Khalid was not ready and my personal bag wasn't ready. So she said to me to go and get them ready and come back. And so I did that, and when I got back to the hospital, I went straight up to the mother and baby unit to have Khalid for 8 p.m. on the 31st of July that same night. The contractions were killing me. But honestly, I was more scared of the epidural than the pain, to be honest. I was terrified of going through that whole procedure again because this is my second child. I was shaking and just scared, like full stop. But Dr. Charla was very comforting. Her voice, her energy, she had made me safe in a moment where I felt everything but. So when they put the epidural needle in, I felt the medicine move through my body, from my chest down to my legs and all the way to my toes. It was this warm, heavy, tingling feeling. Then suddenly I couldn't feel anything at all. Then they had started. I couldn't feel pain, but I felt pulling, tugging, like my body was being dragged on the floor. And then they took Khalid out, but I didn't hear him cry. The silence, it kind of broke me, because natural thing is when they take the baby out, the baby starts screaming, but Khalid didn't. But no one was telling me anything. Next thing I know, my baby was being rushed to Lefkoşa, to intensive care, to the pandemic hospital. And my newborn son is on life support. He stayed there for 22 days. An infection in my body had passed to him. His tiny body was covered in purple and dark blue marks. His lungs weren't ready. He was so small. He was only just 2 kilos and 50 grams. Just a tiny baby fighting to survive, basically. That night, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. So my ex's mum stayed with me for a few hours so I wouldn't be alone. And she made a dua for me, which is basically she prayed for me, she prayed for my baby, and I just lay there broken. So obviously I was stuck in hospital for 2 days. 2 whole days while my heart was in another city. Obviously my heart was with my son. All I could think was, he needs me and I can't get to him. I truly believed I was going to lose my baby. That kind of fear, it does change you forever. And it really did change me forever. Even now, just saying this out loud just makes me feel really emotional, because some moments don't just pass, they stay with you and they become a part of who you are. But finally I was allowed to go home. But of course, can't go home with baby. It was really upsetting for me because a mother, her natural thing is to start to mother her child and breastfeed, and I couldn't do that because my baby was in ITCU. And after 1 week of being at home, I had finally booked an appointment to go and see my baby. I was only allowed to see my baby for about 10 minutes. But obviously when I got to see him, I just burst into tears, seeing him so small in a little tiny incubator with all of these tubes and monitors attached to him. But he just looked so peaceful, just laying there. He had so much hair on his little head, honestly. Honest to God, he was absolutely tiny, but he was my reason to heal from my C-section to be ready for when the little baby comes home. So I was trying to produce as much milk as I could, but with all the stress going on at home with my ex, I was struggling to make milk. I was struggling to produce. I bought different types of teas to produce more milk. I was eating the right things just to make milk. I was doing everything that I could to try and get my milk up, but it just wasn't working because I was just under so much stress. So I would pump for hours and only get about 3 ounces of my milk up, but like I said, it just wasn't working. Obviously, the pandemic hospital did say to me, we can give your baby formula too. It's not a problem. So I agreed to it. So basically, on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday, I was going for visitation to see my baby. On one of the days, I had bumped into a friend that I had known for years. And she was taking care of my baby that day. And she asked me if I wanted to have skin-on-skin time with my baby for the first time. And she also asked me if I wanted to feed my baby. And I said, of course. So I had a whole hour of just me and my baby. And it was really, really wholesome. Obviously, it was emotional. Don't get me wrong. I was so overwhelmed, but I felt so happy. Me and my baby just finally was in my arms after all that time of not being able to see, hear my baby. But saying that, he didn't cry. His lungs were too weak for it. If I'm going to be honest, my baby Halit didn't cry properly until about 3 months old. He was on a nebulizer machine until he was about 5 months old. He was just so precious. I'm very grateful that my little son pulled through. So after 22 days of being in the ITCU hospital, I was in Lefkosha one fine afternoon and I went to visit a friend of mine because she had moved to Lefkosha with her boyfriend and they had opened up a business there. Anyway, I went for a coffee with her, and also, obviously my ex was with me also, and we sat there for a bit, and me and my friend Lara had coffee, and yeah, we had a really nice catch up, and then we went outside to sit in the sun. The next minute my phone rings and they tell me that baby Halit is being discharged from the hospital. Anyway, I had got so happy. I was literally jumping for joy. And bless my friend Lara, she gave me money to go buy my son a coming home little outfit because obviously I didn't have the baby's clothes with me because that day I didn't know that he was going to come home. So we rushed to go and get baby Halit something to wear. We rushed to go and get him a dummy as well. And I remember his first dummy had a lion on it because obviously he's a Leo because he was born on the 31st of July. So I had got him this cute little outfit and it had lions on it. And I remember getting his dummy that had a lion on it to match. And then we literally just went and got him from the pandemic hospital. I was so over the moon. So my friend Lara did say to me, come back so I can see the baby. And I said, of course I will bring him to see you. You're my best friend. Like, of course he's going to want to see his Auntie Laura. And so we did. It was just so emotional. I just couldn't wait to bring Hallet home. So then obviously I'm trying to, I think I can remember I rang my mum. I was texting my mum. I think she was even at work saying, oh my God, like the baby's coming home. And, I was just texting everyone to tell them the news. I think everyone was shocked because I was shocked as well because we didn't know that baby Hallet was going to come home. We thought that he was going to be in there for a lot longer. But the whole journey home, Hallet was in my arms and he was fast asleep. He didn't wake up the whole journey. And to be honest with you, obviously Hallet didn't cry much ill anyway, because his doctor said at the ITCU, she told me especially, please do not smoke around the baby. No animal hairs should be around the baby. No dust, nothing. I even said for people who was going to come and visit the baby, because the doctor said to me, people who smoked especially were to not smoke and hold the baby. Like, that was a thing. And like, if they were kind of gonna come around to my house, I would tell them to bring an extra spare t-shirt so they could change into. Like I said, baby Hallet was so precious and he went through a lot. And he obviously still had a long journey. But he had me, obviously, as his mother by his side, and I'm still there by his side, like literally every step of the way. And honestly, I was the only one who paid attention to what the doctor had said at the pandemic hospital. But stay tuned for further stories with Healing with Chloe. If you do not mind, like and comment and do the little reshare thing. Thank you yet again for all of my supporters and the people who have shown me love. Continue to do that. I'm very grateful. And thank you for watching.